common purpose and common principle to design, build, document, finance and defend. Learn, challenge, act now.
Welcome to the 293rd Julian Assange Sydney Town Hall gathering. Truth is on our side, yet it is apparent that the truth alone isn't enough to defeat the corruption embedded in our systems of governance. Alongside the truth, we need to be able to freely communicate so that we are able to truthfully inform one another and come together to defeat corruption. The mainstream media do not engage in free speech, but they have highly developed abilities for communicating the propaganda used to deceive the population into complying with systems of governance that enable the unjust power of the few over the many. It is in our best interests to do whatever it takes to develop our communication skills so that we can compete with the mainstream media and bring about unity necessary for holding the corrupt to account. The weekly Julian Assange Sydney Town Hall gatherings provide great opportunities for developing various forms of communication skills, including public speaking, flyer generation, graphical sign writing, video making, etc. The more skillful we can become at communication, the more others will wish to join with us. Taking on the challenge of developing our grassroots communication skills is highly worthwhile, benefiting the individuals involved as well as our society as a whole. Developing the ability to speak freely is also a creative and rewarding experience. The task of resisting the current push by governments to suppress free speech is a long-term initiative and will involve laying the groundwork over many, many years. In relation to the mainstream media, we have a great deal of catching up to do. But the ethical underpinning of our endeavours ensures we will have the full backing of our hearts and minds. Developing our free speech skills is vital for the future of human freedom. The Assange movement continues. Free, free, free the truth. Free, free, free the truth. Free, free, free the truth. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Miley Trin. I've been a doctor for 29 years, and before this, I had never had a complaint made against me. And yet, I have been suspended from practice for 3 years and 8 months. During this time, I have endured coercion, intimidation, threats of jail time, and unbearable pressure, all for doing what I believed was right for my patients. It took time for me to understand what happened to me, but now that I do, I'm here to share it with you so that what happened to me never happened to another doctor in Australia. On the 6th of October 2021, I received letters from both the Healthcare Complaints Commission and the Medical Council informing me of 2 complaints. One from a hospital intern at Westmead Toxicology Department, and another from a person calling themselves John Smith. The John Smith complaint was false. It was based on a prescription that had been stolen from a chemist before it was filled, and I was told by the chemist assistant that it was passed to an APRA agent. The redacted script left the Medicare number visible, and that's how I discovered it belonged to a member of my family. The complaint gave no contactable telephone number or working email. The person was uncontactable, unidentifiable. I have since referred this matter to the police. The toxicology complaint also turned out to be invalid. It was made without patient consent, something the HCCC eventually admitted to my legal team. But at the time, none of this was disclosed to me. Instead of properly assessing either complaints as required by law, the health regulators took me straight to an emergency suspension hearing under Section 150 of the national law. I was never given an opportunity to respond to these unfounded allegations. I was accused of being a danger to the public and immediately suspended on the 27th of October 2021 on the day of the hearing. Something even more concerning happened. An internal email between the Medical Council and the Healthcare Complaints Commission, which was only made available at this current prosecution hearing. This email was dated the 10th of November 2021, 2 weeks after my suspension. The Medical Council in this email decided that the 2 original complaints were only used to trigger the Section 150 hearing, but the 3rd complaint, file number 2107861, was the complaint that was subjected to ongoing investigation and prosecution, a complaint that I was not made aware of at the time. A document titled Reasons for Section 150 Suspension was sent to me on the 8th of November 2021, which I believed was their reasons for suspending me. This was claimed to be the complaint by the Medical Council, and this was informed to me by the Healthcare Complaints Commission 6 months later. At the time, I thought that this was simply an explanation for the decision, not a formal complaint that was made to me by the Medical Council. This complaint had never been served to me. It was never told that it existed. There was no correspondence to convey to me that there was a complaint made by the Medical Council. There was no allegations, no particulars, nothing. And yet it became the sole complaint used by the Healthcare Complaints Commission to seize patients' files under Section 34A of the Healthcare Complaints Act. Medical records of 6 patients were seized under the Section 34A, belonging to patients that I had prescribed ivermectin to. They were identified through my prescribing data search. None of them had made a complaint against me, and none of them consented to their medical records being accessed by the Healthcare Complaints Commission. The same medical complaints, file number 2107861, was also used to issue a coercion demand that I hand over records of 20 to 30 patients. The Healthcare Complaints Commission do not know who these people are, and none of them made a complaint against me. This order came under threat of penalty. 2 independent lawyers advised me not to comply because the notice was legally invalid. I now face the risk of being found guilty of professional misconduct, not for harming anyone, not for breaching ethics, but for refusing to comply with an unlawful notice and for allegedly practicing significantly below standard based on a review of patient files obtained under the same notice. Those medical files were reviewed by a GP whose name and qualifications were suppressed. This expert witness assessed me purely based on documents, without context, without discussion, and issued a finding that was used to claim that I had practiced significantly below standard. What is most alarming is that the complaint the Healthcare Complaints Commission is now using to prosecute me did not even exist at the time of my suspension. It was written by the same body that made the decision to suspend me. In other words, the medical council acted as both the decision maker and the complainant. That is a serious breach of legal principle. It amounts to jurisdictional error, and it renders the complaint and the current prosecution fundamentally flawed. Friends, I never imagined that any Australian authority would behave like this. If this can happen to a doctor like me, who has never had a prior complaint, who served faithfully for 29 years, it can happen to anyone. So I ask you this: how can the Healthcare Complaints Commission be allowed to create complaints after a suspension using those complaints to seize records and then prosecute the same doctor using powers never meant for that purpose? Where is the oversight? Where is the accountability? What power allows them to ruin a doctor's life like this? And who is watching? Parliament has an oversight committee. Where are they? Why is this being allowed to continue? And most of all, what is their motive? Please share my story. This must never happen again.
He, them, energy! He, them, energy! He, them, energy! Yeah!
Hi there. So I have a note about the Sydney Harbour sea monster. It's very important. It's my understanding in the year 1898, William Randolph Hearst commissioned the Sydney Harbour sea monster to destroy the battleship Maine in Havana Harbour. Now this was 1898. I've just got this on very good authority, straight from my brain. So that is my understanding anyway. So thank you very much. There you go. There's some lunacy for you.
What's the significance of this?
I don't know.
While he's in the tank,
Oh, we've got the tank up there. You can see up there on the State Street building. You can see it's changing colours.
And it's gone to yellow, which means he's thrown up.
Yes, it's gone to yellow now, which means the sea monster's thrown up. Very important.
Cover the bottom.
Yes, and the yellow is covered the bottom.
Oh,